All right, everyone, welcome aboard. Get ready, Kos. Today we're taking a deep dive into a topic that might surprise you with just how fascinating it is, the Indian Railways.
You got that right.
You know, with the mountain of articles and reports you sent over,
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you're just as intrigued as I am.
For sure.
Maybe you're thinking about investing, maybe you're planning a trip, or hey, maybe you're just a train enthusiast.
Happens to the best of us.
Whatever the reason, I'm excited to dig into this with you and uncover some hidden gems along the way.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
So let's get started. The Indian Railways, it's more than just a way to get around. It's a cultural icon, a symbol of progress, and a major player in India's economy.
Absolutely. What's remarkable about the Indian Railways is that it goes way beyond just being transportation. It's woven into the very fabric of India, culturally, economically, even emotionally. It truly is a lifeline connecting this vast and incredibly diverse nation.
Okay, so first things first, let's get a sense of the scale we're talking about here. This network spans over 67,000 kilometers of track. That's enough to circle the Earth almost twice.
Can you imagine the logistics involved in managing a system that massive?
Wow.
It's one of the largest rail networks in the world, and it touches almost every corner of this incredibly diverse country.
And it's not just about moving people, right? This system, it's a cornerstone of India's economy. We're talking about 1.5 billion tons of freight transported annually.
Yeah.
Everything from coal to construction materials to those essential food supplies. The Indian Railways keeps everything moving.
You got it. And don't forget, the workforce, over 1.4 million employees. That makes it one of the biggest employers in all of India. It creates this ripple effect that supports families and communities all across the nation.
It's also incredibly inclusive with its tiered fare system.
Right.
It makes train travel accessible to people of all income levels. Imagine being able to travel across this vast country affordably. You could experience that tapestry of cultures and landscapes that India has to offer.
It's truly amazing.
Now let's change tracks a bit and talk about some of the engineering marvels that the Indian Railways has produced.
Yeah.
The Konkan Railway, for instance. Clinging to that coastline, a testament to human ingenuity.
Truly.
And then there's the Chenab Bridge, soaring over a deep gorge, a symbol of ambition and engineering prowess.
It's quite a sight to behold.
And let's not forget the Vande Bharat Express,
Oh, yeah.
a modern marvel that showcases India's leap forward in high-speed rail.
It's a beauty.
Speaking of innovation, let's zoom in on a specific region where the Indian Railways is poised to really transform the landscape, Himachal Pradesh,
Okay.
a state known for its breathtaking Himalayan landscapes.
Himachal Pradesh is a really fascinating case study. Improved rail connectivity, particularly the proposed Bhanupali-Bilaspur-Leh Line, has the potential to completely change the game for the state.
Picture this, a train journey through the Himalayas. Panoramic views of snow-capped peaks and lush valleys unfolding right outside your window.
Sounds magical.
But it's not just about the scenery.
Right.
Enhanced rail connectivity would be a huge boon for tourism, bringing in much-needed revenue and creating jobs.
Absolutely.
It would also make it easier to transport agricultural goods like those delicious Himachal Pradesh apples to wider markets across India.
Imagine those apples reaching consumers in Delhi, Mumbai, and beyond, all thanks to efficient rail transport.
Yeah.
It would be a win for farmers and consumers alike.
It would. And we can't forget about the environmental benefits.
Right.
Trains offer a more sustainable mode of transport compared to roads,
For sure.
leading to less traffic congestion and lower emissions. Protecting the pristine Himalayan ecosystem is crucial, and the railways can play a really big role in that.
Yeah.
Now, to really grasp the potential impact of this railway line, let's delve a little deeper into the existing rail infrastructure in Himachal Pradesh.
Okay.
You might be surprised to learn that despite the challenging mountainous terrain, there are already 3 operational railway lines in the state.
That's
One of the most iconic is the Kalka-Shimla Railway, a narrow-gauge line that's not just a mode of transport, but a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Oh, yeah, I've heard so much about this one.
It's a true marvel of engineering, winding its way through 102 tunnels and over 800 bridges, offering these spectacular views of the Himalayan foothills.
Then we have the Pathankat-Jagandar-Nagar Railway, another narrow gauge line that traverses the stunning Kangra Valley with views of those majestic Dalathar ranges.
Beautiful.
It's a vital link for locals and tourists heading to places like Dharamshala and McLeod.
And let's not forget the Nangal Dam Una Ambandora line,
Yeah.
a relatively new broad gauge line that connects industrial areas and provides crucial access to the Una district. It's a workhorse for both passenger and freight transport, contributing to the region's economic development.
You got it.
These existing lines really highlight the importance of rail connectivity in Himachal Pradesh. However, the real excitement lies in the proposed and under construction projects, which promise to further revolutionize transportation and unlock the state's economic potential.
I can't wait to dive into those. So these new rail projects, they really represent a bold vision for the future of Himachal Pradesh. One of the most ambitious is the Bhanupali-Bilaspur-Leh Line. It aims to connect Bilaspur in Himachal Pradesh all the way to Leh in Ladakh.
Wow, that's a massive undertaking. We're talking about crossing the Shivalik, the Great Himalayan, and the Zanskar ranges some of the most challenging terrain imaginable.
You got it. 498 kilometers of track traversing rugged mountains and high-altitude passes. This project demands engineering ingenuity of the highest order. We're talking tunnels, viaducts, and bridges designed to withstand earthquakes and some pretty extreme weather conditions. This is pushing the boundaries of what's possible in railway construction.
It's really mind-boggling to think about the scale of this project. But it's not just about the engineering feat itself. This line has the potential to completely reshape Himachal Pradesh's economy and its society.
Absolutely. Let's start with tourism. This line would make Leh with its iconic Pangong Lake and Nubra Valley accessible by rail. It could turn it into a year-round tourist destination even during the winter months, when snowfall usually makes it really difficult to get there.
That would be huge for the tourism industry. Imagine experiencing the stark beauty of Ladakh in the winter, surrounded by snow-capped peaks. And of course, easier access to popular destinations like Manali Keelong and the Lahaul Spiti Valley would bring even more tourists to Himachal Pradesh.
And it's not just about the number of tourists, it's about attracting those higher-spending travelers, the ones who are seeking unique experiences. Think about the possibilities for luxury and heritage tourism. Maybe something like the Palace on Wheels, but tailored to the unique beauty and culture of Himachal.
That's a fantastic idea. A luxury train journey through the Himalayas, showcasing the region's rich heritage and stunning landscapes. It would be an experience unlike any other.
And let's not forget about the potential for developing ecotourism with a focus on sustainability and responsible travel practices. This railway line could provide access to those remote villages and pristine natural areas, offering tourists a chance to really connect with the local culture and experience the beauty of the Himalayas in a way that minimizes their impact on the environment.
It's really exciting to think about the diverse tourism opportunities this railway line could create. But tourism aside, it would also have a significant impact on other sectors of the economy, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. The agricultural sector, for one, would benefit immensely. Imagine farmers in Himachal being able to transport their apples, vegetables, and other produce to larger markets quickly and efficiently.
Right now, a lot of that produce has to be transported by road, which can be slow, expensive, and unreliable, especially during the monsoon season or if there are landslides.
Exactly. With the railway line, we'd likely see a reduction in transportation costs, less spoilage, and faster delivery times, which would benefit both the farmers and the consumers.
It would also open up new markets for Himachal Pradesh's agricultural products. Imagine those fresh, juicy apples from the Himalayan slopes reaching consumers in southern India, or even being exported to international markets.
It's a win-win situation for everyone involved. And let's not forget about the potential impact on other industries, like handicrafts and processed foods.
Himachal Pradesh is known for its beautiful hand-woven shawls, carpets, and other crafts. With improved logistics, these products could reach a much wider customer base, boosting the local economy and helping to preserve those traditional skills.
And think about the potential for growth in the processed food sector. Himachal Pradesh has an abundance of fruits and vegetables that could be processed into jams, juices, and other products, creating new revenue streams and employment opportunities.
It seems like this railway line could really be a catalyst for a wide range of economic activities, not just in Himachal Pradesh, but also in Ladakh.
Definitely. Ladakh, being a remote region with limited connectivity, would stand to gain immensely from improved transportation infrastructure.
All right, so let's dive into the numbers. What kind of economic impact is this railway line projected to have?
The numbers are really impressive. Himachal Pradesh already welcomes about 18 million tourists every year, with tourism contributing about 7% of the state's GDP. With this new railway line, those numbers could skyrocket. Imagine a potential 25–30% increase in tourist arrivals.
That's incredible. And of course, that translates into more jobs, higher incomes, and a significant boost to the local economy.
Precisely. And it's not just about quantity, it's about attracting those higher spending tourists too. Think about the potential for luxury and heritage tourism. Maybe a train journey modeled after the palace on wheels, but specifically designed for the unique beauty of Himachal Pradesh.
Now, that's an idea I can get behind. And what about off-season tourism? The all-weather connectivity of the railway line would mean that tourists could visit all year round, even during the winter months, when snowfall might otherwise make it tough to travel.
That's right. That could lead to a big increase in hotel and resort occupancy during the off-season, providing a much-needed boost to the hospitality sector. We're talking about a tourism industry that could potentially reach $20 billion in annual revenue within just 5 years.
That's a remarkable figure. And it's not just tourism that stands to benefit. The railway line will also have a transformative impact on logistics and freight transport, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. It would make transporting bulk goods faster, cheaper, and more efficient, leading to significant cost savings for businesses and improved access to essential goods for consumers.
Think about Himachal's famous apples, 750,000 metric tons produced every year, valued at $5.5 billion. But right now, a large portion of that harvest is lost because of poor logistics and spoilage during transport.
With the railway line, we could see a significant reduction in that wastage, saving hundreds of millions of dollars each year. It would be a big win for farmers and for the economy as a whole.
It's fascinating to think about how this railway line could revitalize Himachal Pradesh's apple industry, connecting farmers to wider markets and ensuring that those delicious apples reach consumers across India and beyond.
And it's not just apples. Potatoes, vegetables, pulses, all those agricultural products could be transported more efficiently, reducing costs and opening up new markets. Himachal Pradesh could become a major hub for agricultural exports, benefiting farmers and boosting the state's economy.
It's exciting to think about the potential for growth in the agricultural sector. Well, what about other industries? How could this railway line impact industrial development and exports?
Well, Himachal Pradesh is already India's largest producer of hydroelectric power. With better logistics, they could export equipment and components for new hydropower projects all across the country.
That's a great point. And with improved access to raw materials and transportation networks, we could even see the emergence of brand new industries in Himachal Pradesh, creating jobs and stimulating even more economic growth.
Exactly, and think about the potential for growth in the handloom and handicraft sectors.
Right.
With access to wider markets, they could really scale up their operations and potentially generate billions of dollars in revenue annually.
So it seems like this railway line has the potential to be a real catalyst for economic growth, tourism expansion, and even industrial development. But let's be realistic. Building a project of this magnitude requires a significant financial investment. How does the government plan to fund this ambitious undertaking?
That's a great question. Funding a project of this scale definitely requires a multi-pronged approach. The government is exploring a variety of options, including traditional funding sources, public-private partnerships, and some really innovative financing mechanisms.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's dive deeper into the financial aspects of this project and see how the government plans to make this vision a reality. So we've talked about the potential of this railway, but how is the government going to pay for all of this? This is a huge project through some of the most difficult terrain in the world.
You're right, it is a big investment. But the government has been smart about exploring different ways to make it happen.
So what are some of their key strategies?
Well, they're looking at the usual things like budget allocations and government loans. Those are the tried and true methods for financing these kinds of big infrastructure projects.
That makes sense, but with a project this massive, are those sources going to be enough?
They're definitely a good place to start. But to really make it work financially, the government's also looking at private partnerships, PPPs.
Right, PPPs have become really common for these big infrastructure projects.
Yeah.
Can you explain how they might work for the railway?
Sure. Basically, the government would team up with private companies.
Okay.
And those companies would help develop and run different parts of the railway. Things like building and maintaining the stations, handling the freight, or maybe even providing tourism services.
So the government could share the costs and maybe even finish the project faster by bringing in the private sector.
Exactly. Plus, PPPs often bring in new technologies and different ways of doing things. That could lead to more efficiency and even higher returns on the investment.
Sounds promising.
Yeah.
Are there any other interesting funding ideas they're considering?
Yeah, they're looking into something called land value capture.
Land value capture. I'm not familiar with that. How does it work?
Well, the idea is that building the railway will make the land around it much more valuable.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So the government can get some of that extra value back. They can do that through things like property taxes or development charges.
That's pretty smart. Seems like they're really trying to be creative here.
They are, and remember, the financial returns go beyond just things like ticket sales and freight charges.
Right, we talked about that earlier. There's that ripple effect on tourism, agriculture, handicrafts.
Exactly. All of that economic activity brings in tax revenue for the government through GST income tax and other things. So even if the government doesn't directly profit from every train ticket sold, they're still seeing the benefits of a growing economy.
It does sound like a win-win. The government invests in this project that transforms the region, the economy gets a boost, and the people of Himachal Pradesh and Ladakh have all these new opportunities.
Exactly. And it's important to point out that the government is also committed to making this project sustainable for the environment. They're using eco-friendly construction practices and looking into using renewable energy to run the railway.
It's good to hear. It's so important that a project like this is done in a way that protects the environment, especially in a place as beautiful as the Himalayas.
Absolutely. So the initial investment is big, but the government's approach to funding and their focus on sustainability makes it seem like this railway line could be a big success for both the economy and the environment.
Well, it's been fascinating to learn about this project and to see how the government is making it all come together.
It really shows what can be done with big goals, smart planning, and a commitment to sustainability.
Well said. And for our listeners who want to learn more about this project and what's next for the Indian Railways, I really encourage you to check out all the information that's available online. It's a really interesting topic that'll get you thinking.
Maybe one day you'll even get to take a train through the Himalayas yourself and see how this project has changed the region.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those wheels turning.